Hi, I'm Sam Minnis, creator and developer of Galactic Council. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been playing games for over 25 years now. Some of my first games that I played were on the PC, Spider-Bot, Red Warrior, stuff like that, old school games. More recently, I've been enjoying League of Legends, the new StarCraft 2 expansion, and Bioshock Infinite. My top three favorites, probably Castlevania Symphony of the Night, um, Final Fantasy Tactics, and Planescape Torment. I've been programming for a little over 10 years now. This is my first opportunity to bring a game of this scope or level out. I've done a couple of my own garage type board games before in the past. So this is actually pretty exciting for me to see a product like this in motion. Programming is really important to me because of the system design aspect. I'm a big systems design nerd. I love game design. I love programming design, and they go very well together. Us gamers talk a lot about the design of a game, and you find the DNA for that design, right there in the code. So, I've tackled coding because I want to be able to make an excellent game. And, I find that it definitely helps being a game designer and a coder for, numerous reasons. I like to call myself a statistician. I've taken several graduate level courses in statistics, going over some of the more advanced techniques that are available out there right now. I think it's important to my game design because I can imagine statistics making a difference in two ways. Both internal to the game itself and the types of interactions that will be going on in the game, and external to the game where I'm collecting feedback and analyzing that feedback using statistical techniques. There's so much utility to statistics, and I'm excited to bring that enthusiasm to game creation and the game worlds that I'll be creating. I'm an imaginative type that loves science fiction stories. I really can't get enough of them. I think science fiction captures our culture's hopes and dreams for the future. And from that standpoint, part of my goals for starting this site was to give myself a platform to just write as many science fiction short stories that I could come up with, in the form of cards. I came up with the Galactic Council universe because I felt like it housed pretty much any sci-fi story fits comfortably within the universe because of the way that I've constructed the mechanics and the major players. That's enough about me. Everything else that you need to know about me is really inherent to the design of my game. I've put it all out there. Everything that I really hold dear finds its way one way or another into this game structure. And if it's not there yet, I promise I'm going to bring it to you in the future. You can see exactly the kind of person I am and the kinds of things that I like by joining in this experience and contributing to the campaign. Alright, so now I got a couple things to say about the prototype that's available on the project's site. It is a web-based game. You don't need Flash. There's no downloading required. All you do is you grab an up-to-date version of your favorite browser and get right to playing. There's a 1 versus 1 component where you can play against a friend by generating a link that you can then send to him or her, or you can post that link into the game's lobby where other players will be able to find you if they're looking. In that game, you're going to find the 29 or so cards that I've been able to make so far, and it's a lot of fun. I really think that I've put a lot of effort into making it run smoothly and show the kind of experience that I want players to have from playing that multiplayer component. There's also a text-driven tutorial where I kind of explain the basic mechanics of the game and a deck builder that you can check out. There's also a solo or solitaire game for testing out new strategies and card combos and things of that nature. Um, there is also the create a card feature, which I'm pretty excited to bring to you guys. You can go create your account, log into your account, and on your member profile page you can recombine card abilities to make entirely new card rules, or cards themselves. You can select an image, name your card, save it, and then you're good to go. You can actually use that card that you made in either the 1 vs 1 game or the solitaire or solo one-player game. Pretty exciting stuff. Finally, there's the Beacon Nanon collection. Beacon Nanons are pretty much my game system's experience points. They're available to collect. You get 10 of them for playing a game, but those 10 points are then modified by, if you've made a couple cards and I've taken them for rotation, I give you credit and you earn more Beacon Nanon. And the Beacon Nanon system's available right now. You can log on, you can start playing, you earn those 10 points in-game right now. You don't have to wait till the completion of this campaign. It's, the create a card feature, the Beacon Nanons, the 1 vs 1, it's all available and ready to go, ready for you to see and test right now. So, I'd like to talk about a potential player experience after the Kickstarter campaign has been successful and I've delivered on all of the campaign promises. You log in, and first thing you notice is that you've gotten a certain number of prestige votes from the day before. You earned, a certain amount of Beacon Nanons, which the next day provided you with, let's say, 3 prestige votes. You take these prestige votes and you go around and you cast them in areas that you really care about as a player. They could be a feature that you'd really like to see next, or it could be a card ability that you'd really like to play with, or an entirely new rule variant that you'd like to be able to experiment. You cast these prestige votes, it sends a very clear message to me, the developer, and my development team and the other players about what is important for you to see next. After you're done with that, you log in to look at your 3 created cards. You notice that one of those cards got scooped up for the card rotation in the game. You reach the 4 out of 5 star threshold, and everybody really likes your card, and it gets taken out of your card slot, leaves it open for another one, but in the meantime, you're getting a content assist point for making that card. What this will do for you is, every time you earn Beacon Nanons in the future, you're going to get a modifier on how many points you earned because you've contributed content to the system. Part and parcel to the whole Galactic Council, your council member, voting on the rules of conflict aspect of the game. You should earn more points based on your involvement in this process. So, your 1 card gets scooped up, your other 2 cards not quite there yet, maybe they're at like a 3.5 out of 5 star rating. A couple other players have left you feedback. You go through and, look at those items and maybe address them and hope for the best for the next day. Maybe, again, one of them will hit a 4 star threshold and get scooped up and you'll be able to make more cards. You check to see a friend sent you a link to a game with a couple rule variants that he likes, and lo and behold, you can actually take your newly created card in the game with you, which is super exciting. You show your friend your new card, he's obviously excited for you. You guys play your game, hopefully you win. You move on to the next one, creating a game of your own interest where you get to select the variants that you're interested in playing with, using your card again, of course. Earning Beacon Nanons the whole time while you're playing, which again, the next day is going to contribute to the amount of prestige votes that you earn, so, earn as many Beacon Nanons as you can. During your play, you're noticing cards that other players have made, reading their lore, looking at their images, rating them 5 star if you love it. If not, you give it a lower rating, but you provide some constructive criticism on, why the card fell short in your eyes, giving these players a chance to correct it so that, ultimately what we really want is this huge pool of cards and rule variants so that the game experience stays fresh and has awesome new content to experience pretty much at all times. You know, you're an active agent of that system. The system's going to rely on your feedback to make that happen. You know, I'm not just the developer of Galactic Council. I'm also a player. I'd love to play a game with any of y'all. Send me a link, drop me a question, shoot me an email, a comment, suggestion, whatever. You know, I'm ready and willing to start this discussion. It's a community-driven game, and I'm ready to deliver on that and get the community aspect going. Let's do this. Alright, now I'd like to talk about the lore of the Galactic Council universe. Long before the current setting of the universe, an ancient race died off, leaving behind their crowning technological achievement, nanons. And what nanons are these tiny, sentient nanomachines that pretty much can't live on their own. They need an organic host to provide them with synaptic brain energy, which they then replace with their own faster, more efficient processes. What this does for the host is that it augments their mental powers for a start, allows them to think faster, harder, allows them to do more complex calculations and things of that nature, but it also allows them to command these tiny builders around their environment to pretty much alter the fabric of reality. Build a spaceship, build a weapon, you know, pretty much any number of things that you can imagine that a tiny molecular builder could do. That's what the hosts within this universe will have the power to do. So 50,000 years prior to the setting of the universe, you got all these Nanon hosts acting as members of the Galactic Council, and basically these Nanons love conflict. And whenever there's a conflict of wits between two Nanon hosts, you know, unclaimed Nanon colonies will attach themselves to the winner. And that's pretty much what the Galactic Council is all about. It's all about setting the stage for these conflicts and then dictating the rules of how they're actually fought. 50,000 years before, you know, there are a couple members that went rogue and stopped listening or paying attention to what the Galactic Council was putting forth in terms of rules. And once they did that, you know, all hell broke loose. The universe shattered into just millions of different fragments. Nanons went crazy, their hosts went crazy, and you know, the resultant universe that you have left with 50,000 years after the fact is parts that were able to rebuild and reestablish themselves, and then parts that weren't. You have all kinds of technology everywhere that's run on, you know, the power of nanons that are inactive or broken or destroyed, and people are, you know, it's a crazy time in the universe where all the players represent this nanon host that's trying to make their way in this anything is possible universe. So what happens when players are fighting a battle against each other? They jump to this area within the universe. You know, Nanon hosts can pretty much teleport wherever they want within the universe. But they're teleporting around to find these Nanon colonies that are unclaimed, that they can claim and harvest for themselves to become more powerful. So when two are fighting, they found this hotbed of colony action, and they're trying to claim them. And they jump to the area, they build a spaceship, they use their nanons to build a spaceship from practically nothing. Then they get out into the universe and they start trying to collect, but while they're clashing heads, they are harvesting these nanons out of space, and then transmitting those nanons, a portion of them, to the Galactic Council. And in exchange for this, you get an influence with the acting Galactic Council members, who then are able to help you acquire equipment and contracts that make you more capable of beating your opponent, so that the nanons in that particular area, you know, they don't want to attach to that guy that lost, they want to attach to the person that won. And so that's what the whole battle is about. The battle is about harvesting them, sending a portion of that harvest off to the Galactic Council to get better equipment, so that you can then harvest more than your opponent does. And this happens in one of two ways. You either shoot your opponent, out of the sky with military force, or you construct this 5-component piece of technology that allows you to collect all of the nanons in the area instantaneously, pretty much leaving the other player high and dry. And that's why I think the card creation and the lore writing and all the different ways that Galactic Council players can contribute to the universe, this is why it makes sense. That's what the Galactic Council's purpose is. Its purpose is to oversee and referee the fights that are happening between its members. So when you're voting on a card, whether you like it or not, or when you're making one of your own, it's like you're performing one of your council duties of helping the body determine or shape the ways that these conflicts take place. Right now it's a deck building game, but it could very easily be something else, because as council members, everybody decides that they have another preferred conflict method. And each player is going to be able to determine the kinds of conflicts that they want to get involved to harvest nanons. There's going to be tons of different ways to do it, and that's the idea behind the whole game, is that you can recombine the rules and portions of the lore within the universe to make up this entirely new conflict type that allows you to collect more nanons. You may be wondering where your contribution is going to end up, and you can check here on this Kickstarter page. You can see exactly the detailed list of improvements that I'm planning on making. But in general, the more contribution that you give, the better the game environment's going to be. I'm a great back-end designer, but I think that what's lacking right now is a visual front aesthetic, and I'm really happy to be able to use some of this Kickstarter money to hire the most qualified candidate to get that accomplished. I love the art that we have so far, but there can always be more. Since it's a user-generated content kind of feel, more art's going to mean more capabilities for everybody to be making more cards, which, that's what the whole project's about. Given that I'm a big stats nerd and I want a lot of statistics and data to analyze, your contribution is going to go to better database storage solutions so that I can collect more data in a faster, more efficient way that's not going to hinder the performance of the game environment. And your contributions are really going towards more features. If you check the prototype out, it's skeletal. There's a lot more fleshing out that I can do. There's just so many different features that I can imagine coming up with, and your contributions are going to go towards making sure that those features see the light of day on this site. And finally, you may be wondering what happens if I don't hit my funding goal. And unfortunately, it'll just mean that my full-time focus on this project will have to be scaled back. I've blown through my savings to bring the project to where it's at right now. I'm very happy with it. But if I can't hit the funding goal, then I'm just going to have to scale back how much work I'm pouring into it. And basically what that means for everybody is that the timetable for delivery will be severely impacted.